Hi everyone, this is Ruth Stewart. I had done a GoFundMe request this past summer. I wanted to go to Harvard University Extension School, and I had a friend who did a GoFundMe request. She had produced a film, and I never had the idea before, and I took her idea and I did a GoFundMe, and I was asking for the tuition for the school for that semester. I think it was about $3,600, and actually I got about $1,300, and actually I was able to attend school last semester at the Harvard University Extension School, and I'm glad it's over. But it was a very good experience, but it was extremely challenging. But I'm glad that I walked through it. I'm glad I went through it, and I do need to go to school this coming semester, and the payment's due January 5th. And I'm going to do a GoFundMe again because I think my higher power is in me taking actions and me coming from my heart. So I had done a video this summer, and in my video, I explained why I wanted to go back to school at Harvard University Extension School. And I'll explain that briefly here. So, I went to law school in 2000. Before then, I had gotten a dream that I wanted to go to the John F. Kennedy School of Government. I had been incarcerated. I had had a car accident in 1989. I had a head injury. And a couple years later, I started doing things that didn't make sense to anyone. I didn't know that at the time, that some of the things I was doing didn't make sense, but I got myself into trouble. And at that time, I was a fifth year sophomore in college, and I was had untreated mental illness problems that stemmed from this car accident that I wasn't aware of. And also, I had untreated addiction problems, and I had gotten into trouble, and I was incarcerated for up to 5 years. And I actually ended up at a place for the criminally insane, which I went through that, and then I got released in 1996, and I went back to college and graduated with honors. And also, then I wanted to go to law school. So I went to law school, and I went in 2000. But during that time period, I had some experiences. I did an internship on Capitol Hill for a congressman, and actually did an internship for a city councilman in Baltimore City. And all these things, really, I had a dream inside of me to being able to make a difference, to be a leader. And a lot of that was coming from my heart. And I um, I had this dream of going to the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. I went there actually when I went to law school. I wanted to go there before I went to law school, and I thought if I did good in law school, that it would help me get in. So I visited there like my first, second year of law school. I went there for the day, and I took a picture next to the sign that said John F. Kennedy School of Government, and it's always been in my heart, and it's still in my heart. And what happened was, I went to law school, and then I met my wife, and before you know it, I have a job with a lot of responsibility, and we own a home, and we have a lot of responsibilities, and now it's 20 years later, but after 15 years later, that dream's still inside of me, and I'm really from a place of living from my heart, and I'm really from a place about having faith. So, with all that being said, about 5 years ago, I went with my wife to Harvard, and we went to the John F. Kennedy School of Government, and we spoke with some people there. And I really realized that that really wasn't a school for me. It was more like public policy. And I just really want to be a place where learn more about government, like it's like political science. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in communication studies and a law degree, but I want to know more about government and just about be more knowledgeable about leadership in government. So, but when we were leaving at the airport, I realized that Harvard had a way to go remotely, like an extension school. And I didn't know about that. And my wife at that time was going to school remotely. And when I found that out, this was 5 years ago, I was thinking, that's what I want to do. I want to go to the Harvard University. It's called the Harvard University Extension School, and it's one of the, I think, 7 schools at Harvard, and you can be taught by Harvard professors. And you know, I so 5 years ago, I really pinned myself on that and really wanting to go there, but I didn't really know how I could do it. It's because I don't know, law firm, and I'm busy, and I have a family, and just have life on life challenges in the midst of all that. And I've always borrow money or get a loan and stuff. I was thinking about winning the Mega Million. I could go, but I haven't won the Mega Million. And this past year, my had some health problems in my family, and we were always a two income household, and we've been a one income household for 2 years. And in the midst of that, just walking through those financial challenges, I found myself in a situation where I was having to take a lot of actions and ask for a lot of help. Asking for help's a wonderful thing, but sometimes a lot harder to do than to talk about. And I was asking for some help. And remember, I got on some phone call one time, and I was asking some people for some assistance, and I was all hung up in that. I'm a lawyer, and I own a business, and all these things that you know uh, have all these tags to them, and labels and masks, and maybe I shouldn't be in a position where I'm asking for people to help me. And I'm so glad I was in that situation, because of me just being in that situation and letting my guards down and letting my masks fall and just being who I was and asking for the help I needed. I got the biggest gift from that. I mean, one of it was the rest of that week, I felt so empowered. It's like I felt so, I don't know, maybe I just became humble. I dropped a lot of this stuff I carry around. I mean, I work on myself all the time, and I'm working, but I still have all these guards up and all these masks I want to wear. But I'm having to ask people for financial assistance with all these things that we were going through and still go through. It, I had to throw off a lot of these masks that I wear about who I am and what my identity is and my profession and all this other stuff. But long story short, in the midst of all that, I had this thought. I was like, well, I could just write Harvard a letter, and I could ask for a scholarship. That probably sounds like a very simple thing, or why didn't I think of that a long time ago? But I guess I've always been caught in this thought system of, you know, I'm always used to borrowing money or taking a loan out and living that way. And, I'm always also, always want to stay stuck, or always want to be a victim, and don't want to really get involved in making things happen by playing my part. So, when I was going through that, I got the idea. I said, well, I'm going to write Harvard a letter. So I spent a lot of time, and what I did was drafted a really nice email to them, describing to them, that I wanted to go. And what I really spoke about was, it was very challenging for me to publish my book, because, my book is called Great Opportunities Inside Difficulties, the same topic, same banner on this backdrop. And, it was about not necessarily my car accident, not necessarily me being incarcerated for 5 years, but it was about it was 5 challenges I had walked through in my life. And one of them was, going through the mental illness, addiction, and being incarcerated. And those aren't a one stop. Those things continue. It's not like I mean, I I've been able to successfully manage those problems for many years, but you know. I still work on those things, but I've had other challenges I've walked through in my life that I've obtained great gifts from, courage, and lots of action, being you know hope. A lot of things I've gotten from these challenges I've been through. So, but I didn't really want to. I was on my heart. It was very difficult for me to publish the book because of what my book spoke about, and that was about me and about things I've been through and me sharing things. And I really didn't know that my fear of the stigma of mental illness was so profound. I work, and I go to 12-step meetings. People there know about my past a little bit, and I talk openly about my past there. My family knows about it, but a lot of that stuff has been really neatly packed in my neatly packed away, and I didn't, a lot of the things I did when I had undiagnosed mental illness, some of the things I did that caused me to get into trouble when it's talking about that. It's very difficult for me to publish that book, and I was able to do that. But when I was thinking about writing this letter to Harvard, I was thinking, it took a lot of faith and strength for me to be able to use my voice that in my book and to publish that. I was thinking, I could use that same faith and strength and courage to use my voice in other areas of my life and to be able to make a difference. And even before I went to law school, and I've always wanted to make a difference and be a part of the solution, be a part of positive change, and being able to stand up for what is right. And so going through that process this summer and applying to Harvard and sending them that letter for a scholarship, they applied back and they said, we don't give scholarships to people who have not been officially admitted into that program, because the way you get into the extension schools, you have to get a B or higher on 3 courses to be admitted into the graduate program there. So that's how a scholarship isn't available at this time. But I just finished my first semester, and I had done a GoFundMe, and I got about a third of the money from there, and I just finished, and it was a very rewarding experience. And I'm following my vision and my purpose, and I just want to be in a position where I can be unopinionated and non-emotional and educated and be able to consider all viewpoints, but be able to have a different response than I see currently in our society of how other leaders respond to some of the challenges we go through. And I would like to be able to use my voice to make a difference in the middle of that. Just I have lots of ideals. Of course, I have a lot of opinions and a lot of, but I want to be in a situation where I can refine my ideals and can be educated and know what I'm speaking about before I open my mouth. I feel that studying government at Harvard University Extension School and where that takes me will allow me to get there. So January 5th, I need to pay my $3,600 for my next semester. And I was asking if you were able to, if you could financially, donate on GoFundMe. If you could, I think if like 150 people donate $24, that's $3,600. The class is like $3,100. I consider like $300 for books, and GoFundMe charges a percentage. I think it would be about $200. So $3,600 is what it would cost for this coming semester, which would be my second semester. And any additional money that I get, I'm just going to keep till I finish these 3 classes, and then I can ask for a scholarship when I get admitted into the graduate program. But money's due by January 5th, and living from the heart, and I'm going for it. And I'm going to send this out here. So if you aren't able to, give financially, I definitely understand that. But if you could share this on social media with some of your social media contacts, or just even pass this along to someone else who may be able to donate, or share it with people on social media. But I really appreciate everyone's help, and I really appreciate this outlet to be able to do that. And I really appreciate the courage, strength, and faith that I get from my higher power to be able to live this way, and I'm going to keep living this way. So thank you very much.